make your current circumstances a story that you'll be able to tell in the future, not something that you're constantly complaining about. Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see by the title, today we're going to be talking about how to be intentionally positive. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I know from personal experience what it's like to have a negative mindset and to really operate from that space. And I can tell you now that since I've been on my healing journey, that it's so much more healthy and it feels so much better to be positive. It feels so much more fun to be positive because you allow yourself to connect with your inner child and really be whimsical and childlike. And if you're a little bit like me, you can play around with a little bit of delusion, you know what I'm saying? But it's so important to choose to be positive because negativity is easy to fall into. And in 2026, that's not our goal because we're trying to become the best version of ourselves. We're not trying to be the same person that we were a year ago. We're not trying to be the same person that we were 6 months ago. We want to be the best elevated and healthy version of ourselves. So if you find value from this video, please leave a like or a comment down below. It really helps my channel out to know that you like videos like these. I love each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all so much for y'all's constant support, and thank you to all my new subscribers. I've been seeing y'all, okay? Go ahead and follow me on Instagram right down below on the screen, and we're gonna get right into it. So before I give you 3 ways that you can be intentionally positive, I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why it's important to choose positivity for your life. Number 1 is because when you don't choose your mindset will be chosen for you. Because the world that we live in is negative. It's so easy to go viral. It's so easy to get so much attention, and it's so much easier to just choose to be a negative person and to exist in that space and in that energy. And I don't blame people for doing it because it is easy. It is hard to be a positive person. It is hard to be the light in a room full of darkness, but you have to choose your heart. Would you rather be a negative person surrounded by negative people who aren't happy with themselves, which makes you not be happy with yourself because you allow yourself to be influenced by them? Or would you rather choose to be positive and be the light for the people that are in the dark, for the people that want to come out of the dark, for the people who want to be in a different energy and operate from a different space in their life? Which one would you rather be? You have to choose your heart. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's not easy or fun either to be a negative person because all of the stuff that you're going through, all of the stuff that you're having to deal with, why would you want to continue to be in that cycle? I feel like as long as we live, there will always be things that we go through, and there will always be things that we struggle with and we have to hold on to. But I don't feel like that's an excuse for us to allow ourselves to stay in a cycle just because we're familiar with that, to stay in a cycle just because we feel like that's all that there is to life. But that's not the case. Once you decide that you want to be intentional about your healing journey, once you decide that you want to be intentional about your level up, curating a whole identity that feels aligned to you, curating the life that you want to live and becoming the best version of yourself, once you commit to that and you choose that on purpose, which y'all should go back and watch my video about how to be intentional about your level up. I don't know when I posted that, I don't know. But once you choose that, being positive will come naturally. Anything outside of that will start to feel negative. And when you're navigating your journey, yeah, it might be difficult. Even if it doesn't come naturally at first, as long as you keep making the choice to be positive, you will eventually get there. The second reason why I think it's important to be intentionally positive is because I don't think a lot of people understand that being negative can be conditioning. And it's not always about your direct circumstances and like what you have going on in your personal life, but it can be about how you were raised and how you were influenced by society. Because if you take a look back on your childhood and on your life, I want you to think about when the last time you genuinely felt like a positive person, like you genuinely felt like yourself, before the people in your life conditioned you to hate other people, before the people in your life conditioned you with a certain mindset, before you seen these certain expectations on social media and in the world, before all of that. When was the last time that you actually felt positive and you actually had a positive outlook on things? Because that right there will tell you where to start, where to unravel the things that went wrong. So if it's conditioning and the last time that you felt like you were a positive person was when you were probably what, 15, then okay, we need to go back to 15 and see exactly who, what, when, where, or how, or what happened at that point so we can start to undo that conditioning in being negative. And the thing is, everybody's case is different for why they were conditioned to be negative because everybody's journey is different. But I can tell you from my personal experience, being conditioned to be negative was for control. Because if you can be manipulated, if you can be torn down, if you can be taken advantage of, you will remain subservient. You will remain codependent. You will remain under somebody else's control. Now, I'm not saying that this is the case for everybody because everybody else is different. But in my experience, that was the case. People wanted to take control of me. And I can't blame them because that was a part of their conditioning. But me redoing my conditioning is not allowing people to take control of me, not being subservient to people. Because who are they? And when you don't heal yourself and protect yourself from these types of people, you begin to become that person because because you're stuck in that negative loop with that person. This is why I express to y'all to protect your peace and to really enforce y'all's boundaries and to not stick around people, places, and things that bring out the worst in you and make you a negative person, because I don't even know the words for it. Like, this stuff is so important to your life. People go out every day behind this stuff, y'all. If you wonder why you can't move forward, it's probably because you got people holding you back. Everybody that hates you ain't loud about it. So sometimes you gotta sit back and you gotta observe. You gotta really see who's for you and who's not, so you can make the best decision for yourself. Because I can tell you right now, being negative is not going to get you anywhere in your life. Nowhere. And I can talk about how people are toxic and to protect your peace. I know it sounds like I say the same things over and over and over, but I'm telling you, they all coexist. They all interlap together. I'm going off on a tangent, but when you don't protect yourself from these people, you will allow yourself to become that person. And sometimes these people that are toxic aren't even aware that they are. They're not even aware that they're a negative person. But one thing I can tell you is, whenever you go to a negative person and you tell them that they crossed the boundary, or they did something that you don't like, or they said something you don't like, whatever the case may be, whatever they choose to do from that point will tell you exactly what you need to know about them. If that person decides that they don't want to change right then and there, if they decide that they want to keep doing the same thing over and over to you when you already said that you didn't like it, that should tell you everything you need to know. That is not a person that respects you. They don't care about your boundaries. They don't think positive of you. So why are we keeping those types of people around us? If they do decide to stop doing the thing that you said they don't like, if they do decide to change, if they do decide to grow and to really listen to you, that shows you that they respect you. They shows that they care about how you feel. But when people are doing the opposite, that should tell you everything that you need to know. And it will tell you if it's even worth your time. Because one thing I can tell you from personal experience is that 95% of the time, if you're always having to tell a negative person that they're negative, they're not going to change. So who's insane, you or them? Because it's given both of y'all are expecting a different result, and y'all keep doing the same thing. You keep telling them to stop doing the thing, they keep doing the thing, and y'all are stuck in this cycle of, well, she won't stop doing this, and well, she won't leave me alone about this, whatever the case may be. But it's because y'all are insane. Not actually, not literally, but you know what I mean though. You have to make a choice to leave people where they are. You can't make people be a positive person. You can't make people see things on the bright side. You can't make people see things how you see things. But one thing you can do is see the positivity for you and the life that you want. And last but not least, the third reason why it's important to choose positivity is because on your healing journey, it's not gonna be pretty for a while. When you really start your healing journey, you really tap into that shadow work and you really start getting into those nitty-gritty, dark, deep parts of you and the things that happened to you in your life and the things that you went through. Oh, it's not gonna be pretty. You're gonna be crying, you're gonna be depressed, you're gonna be sad, you're gonna be grieving. And the thing is, healing is not linear. So one day you might be happy, but another day you might be sad, you might be crying, and that's okay. Neither is wrong, because it's a part of the journey that you have to go through. I just want you to understand though that it's not gonna be pretty for a very long time, because I know a lot of people can come on here and tell y'all, oh, just love yourself, and you know, and that's true. Everything that I say or that anybody else says that sounds cliche or whatever is true. But it's also important that you really do the inner work too, because you can do the outer work and you can do all the surface level things, but at the end of the day, are you happy with yourself? Are you happy with the life that you created? Are you happy with the healing that you are doing? Do you feel like you're growing? Do you feel like you're moving forward in your life? Do you feel like you're aligned with the version of yourself, the life, the identity that you want to create for yourself? Do you feel that? And I'm asking all these questions because these are questions that you really need to ask yourself to know that you're on the right path to getting what it is that you want and the things that it is that you deserve in your life. Because as a positive person, I feel like you deserve nothing but the best. Negative people don't really deserve much because they're always doing something. But as a positive person, I know how it is. I know how hard it is to do the right thing. I know how hard it is to choose to be positive. So I applaud you if that is you. If you're a person that is always being positive, you're always just trying to be grateful and see the best things out of life, I applaud you. You're doing amazing. You're so strong for doing that, because I know what it's like, y'all. But I just want you to understand that it's not going to be a pretty journey, and what is going to keep you from moving forward in your growth and in your healing is focusing on the negative part. And let me preface this by saying that this is not to say that you are not allowed to have negative moments, that you are not allowed to not always feel positive and not always feel the best about yourself or whatever the case may be, right? Because I'm not always in a positive space. I don't always think the highest of myself. I go through things too, but I still make that choice. choice. But the goal is to be a generally positive person. I'm not saying you gotta be like Pinkie Pie out here, like you super high energy, or you gotta be like whoever is super high energy, right? I'm just saying you gotta have like a positive general outlook on life. Because when you start to heal, when you start to focus more on the negative things that are going wrong, you start to create a negative feedback loop for yourself. And your thoughts influence your actions, and your actions influence your reality. Because if you choose to think negative, that means you're gonna act negative. And when you act negative, you're gonna have a negative reality. When you choose to be positive, you choose to think positive, you choose to act positive, you're gonna have a positive reality. But you have to choose that, because you're creating the life that you want for you. Say for example, like if you believe the phrase, if it's not one thing, it's another, that's a negative feedback loop that you created because you believe and operate from that space. You believe that there's always something going wrong in your life and you're always the victim. And trust me, I know what it's like. I know those days like where it truly feels like if it's not one thing, it is another. But when we constantly live from that space of, oh my God, there's always something going wrong, you're always gonna have something going wrong. I don't know what to tell you. And I don't know, and I don't mean to come off rude or harsh or anything, but that's the truth. Whatever you choose to do is what you're going to have. And it's not to shame anybody. It's not to make anybody feel bad about themselves, but it's to just bring it to your awareness. Because when we're self-aware, that's how we grow. That's how we heal. That's how we become the best version of ourselves. That's how we live the life that we want to live, is when we level up and be that person that we see ourselves being. That's how we get there. And this is to bring awareness to the people that actually want to change. Let me make that clear. This is for people that want the change. If you don't want to change, that's cool. That's fine. I understand. But you can't be upset when people start to outgrow you. You can't be upset when people start to not talk to you anymore. You can't be upset when you see that they elevate in their life and you're still in the same place. You can't be mad because you didn't make the choice. And it'll be super challenging at first. Like when I first started my self-love journey and choosing to be positive, it was not always a positive experience. Like I'm like, okay, all this stuff is going on, but you expect me to go outside and touch grass or something? You expect me to like be appreciative that the sun is shining a certain way today? That's what you want from me when all of these things are going on in my life? Yes, it's gonna be hard, but the more that you practice and you make the choice, the more committed you will become to it. The more you will start to want to be in that feeling of being positive. And it's the same thing, just like you do with boundaries, just like you do with self-care, just like you do with protecting your peace, building your confidence, and all of the things. It's like building a muscle, and the more that you do it, the better that you will get at it. So how can we become intentionally positive? One way you can be intentionally positive is by actively choosing to see positivity in yourself and in your life. So for example, like if you have a job that you hate, instead of saying like, I hate this job, I'll never get to where it is that I want to be in my life, how about you reframe it as, I don't like this job, but it is a stepping stone to get where it is that I want to get in my career. It is a side hustle. I seen somebody say on Instagram, somebody said, treat your 9 to 5 like it's your side hustle. Think of it as a side hustle with cash flow while you build your main thing. Or if you're not into entrepreneurship or anything, whatever it is that you need to do to get to a certain level in your career, think of it as a stepping stone. Think of it as an investment in yourself to get to the place that you want to be in your life. And another thing is like, when the crazy thing used to happen in my life when I first started my self-love journey, because that's when things were super crazy. Back then I used to just be a little whimsical and tell myself, you know, this is going to be a crazy story to tell one day. Like, and notice the distinction there. The thing is, I planned for those circumstances to be a story because I made the choice that I'm not going to stay there. And that's the thing. Make your current circumstances a story that you'll be able to tell in the future, not something that you're constantly complaining about, because that's what victims do. That's what negative people do. That's what toxic people do. The people that complain about them circumstances knowing good and well they know what to do to change it, but they don't. You don't want to be that person. Be the person that is like, yeah, I remember when I used to go through X, Y, and Z, when I didn't have X, Y, and Z, whatever the case may be, but now I'm in a different place and I'm grateful for that because I did X, Y, Z. I chose to be positive. I chose to see the good things that were going for me, right? Be that person and apply that to your life in whatever way that looks like, and use yourself as your first positive feedback loop. And this reminds me of a video I made a while back on my channel when I first started practicing mindfulness and affirmations. And that leads me to my second point. The second way you can be intentionally positive is start affirming yourself. In that video I made a while back, I kind of stated how I didn't always think highly of myself, but at the time though, I knew I wanted to feel differently about myself. So I made the choice to start telling myself positive things about myself, even when I didn't believe it. So even if I didn't believe I was beautiful, I would tell myself, I'm beautiful today, or like, I look nice today, or I will get to a certain place in my life. And that's an act of choosing to pour positivity into yourself, because one thing is, y'all are not always going to get positivity from people. Like I said, the world is a negative place, and it's more negativity in it than it is positivity, than it is love. So you have to be the person that gives it to yourself whenever you're not receiving it from other people, instead of trying to fill the void of getting that through other people or through substances or through whatever the case may be. Give it to yourself. So reaffirm the good things about yourself. And I do it all the time. Like, I tell myself, I'm like, you know what, girl, I'm glad you bought those jeans because I wear those jeans all the time. That was a great purchase. Or I like the way that these pants fit on me. Or I like how I did my makeup today. Or I like the outfit I chose. Or I like the way I thought about this. Or I like this idea. Or you always choose the best decision for yourself. You always make good decisions. You always come up with good ideas. I have to reaffirm myself of these things. And I choose to point out these things that I love about myself because in my experience, I never heard anything positive. Never. And like I said before, when you're not getting it from other people, that's when it's most important and most crucial to pour it into yourself. So every single time that I'm in the mirror, I have something nice to say about myself. And even if you are not comfortable yet, how about you get like some post-it notes? I used to get post-it notes back when I was like 16, 17 in high school and stuff. I used to get post-it notes and I used to post them around my room. I used to post them in my bathroom, put them on my mirror, say I am beautiful, I am smart, I am capable, I will be successful, I will live the life I want, I will become the best version of myself that I want to be. Affirm yourself, all the things that you know to be true about yourself. Put that on a post-it note, put it on a note card. If you gotta write it down on your mirror with a marker, whatever you have to do. If you have to visually see it before you even become comfortable seeing it, do that. Because everybody's not to a point where they can just go sit in the mirror and be like, I am beautiful, because it's deeper than that. Because if you're not doing the inner work, it's not going to work. You have to do both at the same time. But when you do it, I promise you, you will see some changes. Because I mean, if you go back to my channel, y'all, when I was making that video, you can see the level up in my mindset and even on the outside from that video to now. I'm living proof. And the people that are in my life sees it. And if you were in my real life, you would see it. I don't have to fake and front, but I'm telling you, all of these things that sound cliche are true. And I want you to be intentional about making yourself feel nice, being nice and kind to yourself. By the time you see this video, it'll be February anyway, and that's the month of love and the month of self-care. It's Black History Month and it's also my birthday month, so February is a great month and it should really all just be about pouring into yourself. And I really want you to do that. So again, create a positive feedback loop for yourself. I've noticed that when I started telling myself certain things, those are the same compliments that people are giving me. The literal exact words that I say to myself are the same things that I'm hearing when people compliment me. And once you start doing that, you'll start to see more positivity and you'll start to adapt that, and it'll be second nature to you. The second thing you can do is to change your language. So basically a lot of reframing in the way that you speak. Instead of I can't, I will never, it could never happen for me, it can never be me, change it to I can, or even could, just for the possibility of it, right? I will, it can happen for me, it will happen for me. Or say things like when that happens for me, not if it happens for me, but when it happens for me, because I know it's going to happen for me. You have to say that stuff out loud because our subconscious is always listening and always watching. So when you speak positivity over yourself and over your life, like you're assuming that the best thing can happen for you, you will start to attract the best outcome for yourself because you believe that that can happen for you. And when you think negative, it's going to be the opposite. For example, I remember when I was 16, I used to have being a YouTuber on my vision board, and I remember being like, I could never be a celebrity, but I could be an influencer. Even though I'm shy and stuff, at the time, I could be an influencer. And just by saying that I could and just opening up that possibility, guess what? That seed sprouted whenever I started my YouTube channel. And I had enough confidence, I guess, to get outside of my comfort zone and try it. Another example is like when I start editing, my self-doubt kicks in so bad. Like I can literally edit the whole video and then I get the urge to want to trash it. But I have to fight against the negative thoughts and tell myself that if my video wasn't good and if I didn't think it was good, I would have redone it right then and there. I've had times where I filmed the same video like 15 times because I just was not okay. So if it wasn't good enough, I would have redone it. And that right there just lets me know that what I did and what I have is and will be good enough. And that's just what it has to be. We can't allow our self-doubt and our negativity and our negative thoughts to overtake what it is that we have for our life and influence how we feel about what we can accomplish in our life. Just because a lot of people said you could never do it doesn't mean that you can't do it. They just never did it, right? So how we talk to ourselves and advocate for ourselves is being intentionally positive. The third way to be intentionally positive, I would say, is to count your blessings. And I know that saying this can seem insensitive in some cases, but I really mean this from the most honest, humble, and positive way possible. That when you're truly grateful for what it is that you have, where you are in your life, and who it is that you are as a person, is when you truly start to find peace. is when you truly start to find joy. Back when I first started practicing mindfulness and just being in the moment and appreciating what's around me in the present is when I started to find true peace, true happiness, and true joy, even though I had chaos going on in my life. And counting my blessings kept me sane in some ways. Like I said, when you're always focusing on negative things, being in a negative space and a negative mindset can lead you to having thoughts you don't want to have, leading you to do things that you don't want to do. And when you just take time to touch some grass, smell the roses, go outside and look at the sun and really feel the breeze, feel the air, you will start to realize how much peace you get just being in that moment. So me choosing to be positive is choosing to find beauty in the bad things. Every problem that I had in my life, I found beauty in it. You can use me for an example. Like, even though I'm not where I want to be in my life just yet, and I say yet because I know it's going to happen, the thing that I've been thanking God for the most is my freedom. And not just any type of freedom, but the freedom in my mind and the freedom in my spirit, y'all. I'm telling you, because there's so many things that I have been through, and if I didn't do the things that God told me to do, if I didn't take the time to be present, if I didn't take the time to be positive, if I didn't take the time to start a healing journey, if I didn't take the time to work on myself, I would not be here. I would not be here talking to you right now, because I would have allowed the self-doubt, the conditioning, the negative thoughts, all of that stuff to keep me stifled, to keep me in a negative place that I don't want to be, to keep me in a life that wasn't even mine, that wasn't even created for me, right? That's what that would be if I didn't make the choice to be positive. And counting my blessings reminds me of exactly why I'm doing what it is that I do. I'm telling you right now from personal experience, there is no amount of money in the world that you can spend for that type of freedom, because it's the only type of freedom that you can get from God. It's the only type of freedom that you can get with sitting with yourself and appreciating yourself for who you are and where you are in life and what you have and how you can cultivate that into being the best version of yourself. But you have to make that choice. For example, I remember when I first started my YouTube channel, I was going through a lot in my life, a lot of chaos, a lot of things were sent that were meant to destroy me. But at that time, I decided to focus on myself. I decided to start a healing journey, and I challenged myself to get out of my comfort zone, and starting a YouTube channel was always a goal. So that was the way I could get out of my comfort zone. And I decided to take my power back as well. I chose to focus on myself. I chose to embrace my struggles and the things that I went through and make it into something positive. Anything that happened to me, I turn it around and make it for good, because you cannot destroy me. Nobody can break me, because God built me up. Compliments didn't build me up. Money didn't build me up. I had to build myself up from the ground up, in here. And from experiencing just this side of the other side of being positive rather than being negative, I can tell you that I'm so happy that I learned the things that I did. Even though I might have not appreciated how I had to learn it, I'm so glad that I did, because what if I never did? Or who knows how long it would have took me to learn a certain lesson. I'm grateful for having the knowledge now, because it sets me up for success, because I know what to do. It keeps me from making certain mistakes in my life, because I know what to do. It helps me hold myself to a certain standard and expectation, because I know what to do. We have to appreciate the things that we go through in life and use it to make ourselves a better person. Don't allow that to keep you in a certain space. Don't allow those people who hurt you to break you. Don't allow those people to keep you down. You are better than that. You are not what you went through. You are what you choose to do with your time, with your life. You are who you choose to create yourself to be. But you have to make that choice. I'm not yelling at y'all. I just get a little passionate. I'm sorry. Choosing to see the hard things that you went through in life is a blessing, because there's people out here that are still needing a lesson. There's still people that are living the lesson over and over again. There's some people who may never learn, right? So be grateful that you do. You have the knowledge. You have the wisdom. Even if you don't, you're here. So you're open to getting it. That's a blessing in itself, because there's a lot of people who go through hard things, but it still doesn't trigger them to wake up. You know what I'm saying? So be happy for yourself. Be proud. And again, not to be insensitive, but coming from an honest and grateful space, but be grateful for what you have and where you are, because there always is a worst case scenario. But be grateful that you're not living in that today. And because you're not living in that today, there's no reason to stress about it, because it's not here right now. And it's not to say that you shouldn't worry about it. You should be cognizant of it and that you shouldn't be aware, but choose to not focus on the worst case scenario. Work with what it is that you have right now, the circumstance, the job, the the self-esteem, the love, whatever it is that you have going on in your life, work with it. Find the positive. Sit with yourself. See what you can make from it. Because everything that you have is a blessing, because there's always something you have that another person doesn't have. There's always a circumstance that you're in that a person wishes they were in. There's always a place that you live that another person wishes they live. There's always something that you can afford that somebody else cannot afford, so you have to be grateful for what it is that you have. And it's not to say that you can't want more and that you can't be dissatisfied with what you have. It's not to say that that can't exist, but it is to say that you have to be grateful for the good things that you do have. And even if it is negative, find a way to make it positive. I promise you, because if I told y'all my story, I promise you, if I can do it, you can do it. And I promise you, the more that you practice mindfulness, the more you will start to embrace positivity in literally everything. The more you will start to see the beauty in life, the more beauty you will start to see in people. You start to see them as true human beings and not just objects and ways of conditioning. You see them as people. You see them as things to be loved. You see them as things to nurture. You see them as things to connect with. But you have to choose that. And something I noticed too when I started practicing mindfulness is how resourceful I became. I started to notice qualities about me that were super valuable, and I used those to create opportunities for myself, because not all of us have the luxury or the blessing to be able to have opportunities handed to us. And it's no shade to people that do get opportunities handed to them, because baby, I wish I was you. I'm happy for you. But there's some of us that have to go out there and get ours. So we have to find positivity so we can create opportunities and positivity in our lives for ourselves. So counting your blessings isn't about ignoring your reality and what you have going on. It's about choosing to be happy anyway. Happy with who you are when it's just you alone, not when you're on the gram, not when you have a certain amount of money, not when you have a certain outfit or a certain type of job. Who you are when you are by yourself, when you look in the mirror, when you are alone. Being happy with that version of yourself and genuinely feeling at peace with that version of yourself, no matter the circumstances. So overall, to be intentionally positive, we're going to challenge ourselves to find positive things about ourselves and about our life. We're going to keep affirming those things about ourselves and really get to that place to where we truly believe and operate from that place. And then when we get overwhelmed with life, we're going to practice mindfulness and practice counting our blessings to keep us grounded and allow ourselves that space to see ourselves outside of the chaos, because sometimes chaos can become your identity when that's all that you know. But you have to know that you are not the chaos and you can do something about it. You can change and you can create your own identity. So that is pretty much all I have to say for this video. I hope that you found some value from it. It's probably all over the place, but I wanted to get this video out for y'all anyway. I love each and every one of y'all so much. I appreciate every one of y'all's support. Again, thank you to all my new subscribers for being here. I love each and every one of y'all so much. And let me know down in the comments of any topics y'all would want to see me talk about. Go ahead and follow my Instagram right down below on the screen, and I will see y'all in my next video.